Welcome into another fun edition of Chalk Talk. Nick Camino, Ben Axelrod. Yes, we're coming to you virtually, not in our beautiful studio today. I know, Ben, you're working from the newsroom over at WKYC. I'm here at home, and it's week 3 of Chalk Talk, week 3 of the NFL, week 4 already of college football. We're off and rolling, Ben. I guess if we learned something during the last year and a half, it's that things like this are possible.
Yeah, just like NFL teams and college football teams, we are adjusting on the fly here a little bit and certainly trying to learn from everything that the last year has taught us. So both couldn't be in the studio today. Might be the case next week as well. But the people need the picks, Nick, so we're going to give them the picks.
Listen, if Kevin Stefanski can do his Monday on a Zoom call, he does the Monday availability on a Zoom call, we can do a Chalk Talk on a Zoom call, all right? That's
right.
All right, so last week, I go 2-1. The Atlanta Falcons are officially dead. Okay? We're done with them. I thought they were going to cover against the Buccaneers. They do not cover for back-to-back weeks. Ben, you knew I was silly to take them in back-to-back weeks after what happened to them in week 1. I still go 2-1 though, so I'll take 4-2 against the number. That's just kind of recapping what happened with me, the loser that I took. I definitely wanted to mention the Atlanta Falcons, but Ben, you end up finishing what? Is it 1?
I went 1-2. I had 2 losers. The Browns didn't cover against the Texans, and then the Chiefs lost outright to the Ravens. So that brings me to 3-3. I think on the year. I think I'm at an even 500 here. So. Got to get back on track here in week 3.
All right, we will we'll keep track of our records. I know we'll do that throughout the season. So here and entering week 3 of Chalk Talk, week 4 of college football, week 3 of the NFL. Ben is 3-3. I am 4-2. We'll have to keep track of that just to make sure we're all good. So here's the deal with these. We pick games against the spread. It could be a side or a total. I don't think either of us have picked a total yet, which if things go spiral out of hand here soon, maybe we'll start picking totals, over-unders. But I think this was a great concept that Ben came up with. We just said, hey, let's try and take our best picks, our best 3 picks each week, college, pro, side, or total, and give you what we can give you, and hopefully we can finish above 52.4% against the number, which would give us a winning year. So that's what we're both trying to achieve. So we go back and forth. We look at football through the lens that is sports gambling, all of it for entertainment purposes only, here in Ohio at least. So Ben, I think you want me to get started. I'll go first here.
Yeah, why don't you lead us off?
All right, so we'll here we go. First game is going to be the Red Raiders of Texas Tech. This is a noon kickoff on Saturday. Big 12 action. Not going to be a Big 12 game in a couple of years with Texas leaving the Big 12. But Texas Tech is on the road at Texas. Red Raiders are getting 8.5 in this spot. I think that Texas Tech can win this football game. I looked this up. The last 4 years, they're 4-0 against the spread against Texas. So maybe this is the start of a great trend. Maybe they can go 5-0 against the number here against the Longhorns. I don't know, Ben. I don't know. I'm not saying Texas Tech is this great team, but Texas, they lose to Arkansas earlier. I know Arkansas is now into the top 25. I just don't know how good this team is. I think it's going to take Sarkisian a while to get his guys involved and really get the system that he wants. Matt Wells is already entering his 3rd year at Texas Tech. He's got his guys. He's got Tyler Shuck, who's the Oregon transfer at quarterback, who's doing a nice job. They got a nice win against Houston in week 1. Again, Texas Tech is on the road getting 8.5 here. I think they can win this football game. So I'm going to take the Red Raiders getting 8.5 here for my first game, college football.
Yeah, I think one thing that's interesting about college football, especially at these high-level, prestige programs like Texas, is when you have that turnover from a coach like the Longhorns are going from Tom Herman now to Steve Sarkisian. And, usually it doesn't, maybe in year 2 you can really turn things around, but year 1, usually you're coming off, a couple of bad recruiting cycles, because if you weren't, the other coach would probably still be in charge here. And so, yeah, this just seems like for a Texas team that is a little down, I think, from a talent standpoint compared to their standard, still breaking in a new system with Steve Sarkisian, who knows if he's the man for this job even. Definitely an underwhelming start for the Longhorns so far. So, yeah, I like this pick just being, for now, a Big 12 rivalry game, getting those 8.5 points.
We'll know early on noon kickoff on Saturday. Okay, Ben, your first pick of the week. What do we got? Are you going to finally give us a college pick?
I am. I'm going to give you my first college pick of the year. I saw you tweeting about this line This was certainly a line that stood out to a lot of people when it first came out on Sunday morning. Actually, I think it opened at 53. I got it at 49 here. I got the Akron Zips plus 49 points at the Ohio State Buckeyes. And I'll tell you what, I actually feel better about this pick now than I did when I initially made it. Ryan Day held his press conference here on Tuesday, Ohio State's head coach. He made it sound like it's kind of up in the air whether or not CJ Stroud is even going to play. He's dealing with a bit of a shoulder injury. Obviously, the Buckeyes aren't in any real danger of losing to the Zips, but 49 points, I mean, one, this Ohio State defense, I'm not sure that I've seen enough from them that I can trust that they aren't going to give up, 1 or 2 touchdowns. And if, Akron, even Akron, who might be the worst team in the FBS, if they can score, at least 10 points here, I think that's going to do enough. I don't know if Ohio State's going to keep the gas on here throughout this game. Definitely seems like if CJ Stroud, even if he plays, doesn't seem like he's going to play the entirety of the game here. So I'm going to take Akron. I'm going to take the 49 points more importantly.
This is wild. I mean, this is a wild spread. I can't believe this game is in prime time, number one. It's on 7:30 on a Saturday night. Okay, so truth be told here, I went to Cleveland State. We do not have a football program. So I've always tried to say, like, which program, of course I love Ohio State, but which could be the program locally that I try to follow? And it's the Akron Zips because they're close right down I-77. Ben, this team has been so bad. I mean, so bad. I mean, a couple of years ago with Terry Bowden, they did a great job. They went to the MAC championship game. They lost to Toledo. They had Cato Nelson at quarterback, who's still on the roster, but he hasn't been playing as much. You really thought they were going to get it going. They fired Terry Bowden. They hired Tom Arth, who's a local guy. Played in the NFL, was Peyton Manning's backup for a little period of time with the Colts. And there were some rumors that he was going to go to the Chargers to be their quarterbacks coach. Those were the rumors that were out there. But he stays at Akron, so you're thinking he's going to get it turned around. They're up 17-7 against Temple in their home opener. Okay, that'd be a nice win against the team from the Americans. They lose that game. It's been a frustrating go for the Akron Zips. And you and I both have friends that follow Akron a little bit. And it's just, they got the facilities. They just, you're never going to be, with Ohio State. We know that. But, at least have a consistent team in the MAC, especially with so much high school football around here. It feels like you should be able to win there. So I can't believe I'm saying this. I can't go with you on the 49 because I've been so frustrated with them. As bad as Ohio State has looked, this has the potential to be so Auburn, I believe, beat Akron 60-10 in the opener, which would be covering 50.
That would cover by a point.
Yes, I believe Ohio State is a little better than Auburn.
Let me ask you this: what do you make of the fact that the line opened up at 53 and instantly shot down to 49?
Well, I'll tell you what, that means that some respected bettors, some guys that are putting a lot of money, bet the Zips right out of the chute. I mean, so here's the thing. This is the thing. If you take the 49, it might be a sweat. If you got it at 53, you might have got a valuable number there. It could be 52-0.
Yeah, I definitely lost some value waiting here, but
but we've spent too long talking about this one. So you're going with the Buckeyes, you're going with the Zips. I'm going to disagree with you here. Big shout out though to the middle linebacker for the Zips, Bubba Arslanian. His family's family friends with ours. I want to give him a shout out. He was on the Senior Bowl watch list. Completely undersized, but he's all over the field. He's a crazy guy. Bubba Arslanian, middle linebacker for the Zips. Good luck this weekend.
I'm rooting for you, Bubba.
I love the name, right? Love the name. All right, here we go. My second pick for week 3. Ben, I don't think you're gonna like this one.
You had disagreement with me there. I'm gonna have some disagreement with you with the rest of your picks here.
All right, I just want to let you know you can't pick against Urban Meyer every week, okay? I'm taking the Jags plus 7.5 at home against the Cardinals. Cardinals coming off a crazy game that they probably should have lost against the Vikings at home. They have to travel to the East Coast, early start. They've been through some craziness so far. I think the Cardinals ultimately do somehow, some way win this game, but I think the Jags do just enough to cover. I think there's a little bit of value in this number in that the home team is getting over a touchdown because they're 0-2. The Cardinals are 2-0. They kind of escaped by the skin of their teeth in a game against the 0-2 Vikings now. So I think the Jags are being a little bit undervalued just because of the rookie quarterback and the coach is a mess. I just think there's just a tiny bit of value with 7.5 there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like this pick. I wouldn't bet the other side of it because just on principle to be laying 7.5 points on the road, I think, that's something I'm trying to get away from here in the NFL. Although I did lay 6 points with the Broncos last week against Urban Meyer on the road, and wow, that was my one win of the week. So maybe I should go back to it here and take Cliff Kingsbury. Man, imagine that, Cliff Kingsbury versus Urban Meyer in the NFL. But man, I just don't. I don't see it with Urban. Like I just think I thought everything this whole way has looked like a dumpster fire for the Jaguars. I haven't seen anything in these first 2 weeks to make me think otherwise. So I just think the Jaguars are one of those teams that home or away is susceptible to getting blown out on a week in and week out basis. I think that's especially true going up against, a team with Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins. And I'll tell you this, that maybe I will pick this game. Actually, no, I'm not. But Rondale Moore with a breakout game for the Cardinals last week, over 100 yards, a touchdown. Remember the last time Rondale Moore went up against Urban Meyer? I think that was 2018 when Purdue beat the doors off of Ohio State. So I'm staying away from this one, but I cannot support you in your ventures here backing Urban Meyer.
Here's an idea how things are going in Jacksonville. I got a prop bet here that I saw. It was from my guy, Rafael Esparza. He's with mybookie.net. They do some fun odds. They have an Urban Meyer prop bet that you can bet on right now. What will happen to Urban Meyer first? Fired -200, quit +140.
So you're getting plus juice on the quit?
Yes.
Oh, give me that, Rafi.
Yeah.
Give me the +140.
That's just how things are going. So Texas Tech +8.5, Jags +7.5. I've gone with two dogs. Ben, your second pick after the Akron Zips getting 49.
Yeah, I am going. I'm going to go with an underdog here. I'm going to go in the NFL. I'm going to go with the Washington football team +9 at the Buffalo Bills. A little shaky, to bet against the Bills coming off that 35-0 win over the Dolphins. But man, I just think Washington continues to get undervalued, and I don't know if that's because they have Taylor Heineke at quarterback, but I mean, I think this Washington defense is legit. I think that Josh Allen, for as good as he's been, if he does have one weakness, he's been a little bit turnover prone. I think that's a lot to ask for him going up against this Bills defensive line headlined by Chase Young. And I think offensively, Washington, regardless of if it's Ryan Fitzpatrick or Taylor Heineke at quarterback, I think they have the weapons in Antonio Gibson and Terry McLaurin to maybe not keep pace with the Bills, but to at least do enough to cover here. So I just think this is good value here. Washington coming off a long week after playing on Thursday Night Football against the Giants last week. I think Washington is just a team that's undervalued in the spot. So I'm going to take the football team +9 against Buffalo.
Yeah, I think it's too many points for an NFL game. You're right. I mean, anything over 7, you start to get a little bit nervous. I still can't believe the Bills lost to the Steelers week 1. I still think a lot. We talk about the Chiefs and the Browns a lot in the AFC. People forget the Bills went to the AFC title game. I mean, they are really, really, really good. But yeah, to give 9 here, I would. This is a stay away for me. But I can see you. I mean, you put some homework into this one, and your points make sense. So I would be with you on all of that. Okay, so my last pick here, and again, a little shop talk on the air. We don't do these. We don't do these picks all the time on Fridays. Okay, this is earlier in the week a little bit here. I guess I'll stick with it for the sake, Ben. The Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers -4.5. They're at home against the Bengals. But now we're getting word about Big Ben. He's dealing with a pectoral injury. Has not, as of this taping, has not been ruled out of the game, right, Ben? They're just going to take it easy?
Correct, yes.
So, I mean, I'm going to stick with it. I know the Steelers are coming off an awful loss against the Raiders. They're 1-1 on the season. But you know what? The Bengals are coming off a bad loss, too. They lost to the Chicago Bears last week. Joe Burrow got picked off 3 times. I think he's a tremendous player. I just wonder if he's inside his own head a little bit. And if you're going to be inside your own head, you don't want to be inside your own head on the road in Pittsburgh. I think the one thing Pittsburgh has going for them is their defense. Even in that loss to the Raiders, they didn't give up all that many points. So I'll stick with the Steelers here. I actually think they win the game, and now I'm thinking this 4 just might be a little bit too high. If they win, it might be by a field goal. So I think I'm risking it here, but I'm too lazy to change my mind. So I guess I'll say go Steelers here, win by 5 points at least.
Yeah, I think I might like this pick better actually for you if Ben doesn't play. And I'm not a big Dwayne Haskins fan, but man, Ben Roethlisberger's cooked. Like he looks like 2015 Peyton Manning, 2020 Drew Brees, and that might be giving him too much credit because this is, those two guys, future Hall of Fame quarterbacks, they kind of just fell off a cliff there in what ultimately was their final seasons. Then this has been like a long time coming. Like this has been. He obviously had the injury in 2019. And then last year, just up and down all year. And now this year, I think he's totally fallen off the cliff. So, they have great skill players, especially at wide receiver. I like Najee Harris at running back. They have an awful offensive line. The one thing about them is they have a really good defense, but that defense is banged up now too with TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith. They're just a team that's dealing with a lot of injuries. And look, you mentioned the 3 interceptions Joe Burrow threw against the Bears. That's definitely a concern. He actually threw them on 3 consecutive pass attempts, which I don't think I've ever seen. But I also think that some of that stuff is kind of fluky. I don't think you can count on Joe Burrow to throw 3 interceptions week in and week out. So I just think the Bengals also, you talk about skill players, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. That's sneakily one of the best wide receiving cores in the NFL to go along with Joe Mixon at running back. So look, the Bengals, they have their own offensive line concerns, but man, until I see it more out of Ben Roethlisberger, this Steelers team is going to be a stay away from me for me unless I'm betting on against them.
The analogy you made on Big Ben with that Peyton Manning with the Broncos is pretty solid. The thing with even Peyton though near the end was he still had a pretty good running game. They had a really good defense. He was throwing to a ton of different wideouts. It's like they were built around him where he didn't have to go win them football games. I kind of thought that's what it would be with Pittsburgh, but he hasn't gotten to that point yet. Ben's he's kind of holding them back. You're right. I think you're right on that. So I think the Steelers do win the game. Might be a tad too close though. We'll see, but I'll take a minus the 4.5. Ben, your final pick of the week.
Yeah, this is the my pick. This terrifies me. This is one of the games I'm most looking forward to watching here, though. I'm going to take the Los Angeles Rams as a pick-em against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Look, I think the Rams are getting undervalued here, especially at home. I know the Bucs look like the best team in the NFL, but what's the saying? The home team just in an even split is -3, or home field is worth 3 points. Like, I think the Rams deserve the credit of being favored at home against any team in the NFL, and that includes the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here. So going against Tom Brady, who has 9 touchdowns already, I think he's probably the front runner to win MVP at 44 years old. You talk about 17 games, he could be going for 60 touchdowns here, but I think that you look at the Rams and what they're doing with Matt Stafford now at quarterback. I just think maybe we're looking at them as the same old Rams with Jared Goff now. I think this is a Rams team that deserves to be favored in this game. And then you want to talk about, these cliche narratives. Next week, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a big-time game. I think it's a Sunday Night Football game against the New England Patriots. Tom Brady's homecoming, Rob Gronkowski's homecoming to Foxborough. This is a potential look-ahead spot, I think. So it terrifies me going against Tom Brady. I typically like to back the Bucs, but I just think this is too much value here, getting the Rams to win straight up.
I'm upset with myself on one thing, that I didn't pick this game with you. Full agreement here. I think that this is a game that they could win by double digits. I'm not kidding you. I think that this could be the spot where it's like, oh, okay, yeah, Tom Brady, this is a reminder. He is 44 years old. I know he looks younger. He's playing as well as he's ever played, but maybe this is that reminder game. Remember they lost to the Bears last year and he forgot the down. He was going as a 4th and it was already turnover on down. Like, this could be that game where like he gets popped by Donald and it's like, ooh, okay, yeah, he is 44 years old. I'm with you on this. I have full agreement here. What an awful pick I have with the Steelers here. Switch it to the Rams. That is a great pick. You're right. They're even. Come on. They should at least be -3 in this spot. But I think that's the public, again, overvaluing full chance, who happen to be 2-0, who, by the way, looked sloppy in that awful pick I had against the Falcons. The Falcons had it pretty close there for a little bit. it. So
yeah, the Bucks are definitely, I think, a public team, just like the Chiefs. The public
yes.
likes to back favorites and back quarterbacks, and those are the two teams in the Super Bowl. I got a funny story for you, though, real quick, talking about Tom Brady and Ben Roethlisberger, who we just talked about. I believe it was Trevor Price. I want to make sure I get that right. I think it was Trevor Price, former defensive end for the Denver Broncos, and he was talking to the Dan Le Batard show about tackling Tom Brady and what it's like to sack Tom Brady. And he said, when you sack Tom Brady, it feels like you're tackling water. He just kind of absorbs you. Like it doesn't feel like he's taking a hit. He just absorbs you. He said, when you tackle Ben Roethlisberger, it's like tackling glass. You can just hear the big shatter in his body. So you want to talk about two quarterbacks who actually, Tom Brady is 5 years older than Ben Roethlisberger, if you can believe it. Two quarterbacks who are aging in very different ways. That's definitely Tom Brady and Ben Roethlisberger.
It's amazing that Tom Brady and Alex Guerrero have even they've mastered not only chia seed pudding and avocado ice cream, they've mastered getting sacked where they just become one with the guy hitting them.
Right.
The bad guy in Terminator 2, that guy who's like all jelly and stuff. The actor from Village, I forget his name now. He's fighting Arnold Schwarzenegger in that movie. He reminds me of that guy. Like he just becomes gel. It's amazing.
It is.
And just for the sake of the records here, I'm 4-2. You're 3-3. I got Texas Tech plus 8.5, Jags plus 7.5, Steelers minus 4.5. Give us your picks again, just so we have them.
Yep, I've got Akron plus 49 at Ohio State. I've got the Washington football team plus 9 at the Buffalo Bills, and I've got the Los Angeles Rams as a straight pick'em versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
When we tweet this out, I'll tell people they can just skip to the end for all these picks. All right, that's going to do it for week 3 of Chalk Talk as we go into week 3 of the NFL season, week 4 already of the college football season. Thanks so much for watching us. We appreciate the clicks, the views. If you're listening in podcast form, that's great too. Ben and I really appreciate it. We enjoy doing the show with you. Have a great rest of your week, and good luck.